Half of America sits empty, millions of square miles abandoned, silent, and forsaken. Why? 10 states so brutal. People don't just leave, they run. What's behind this eerie void? Dive in with us to uncover the raw truth. From icy wastelands to blazing deserts, the answers will grip you. Number 10, Wyoming. Wyoming's scant population of 580,000 rattles around in 97,000 square miles of harsh, unforgiving terrain. Mountains, plains, and badlands that dwarf its residents. Winters don't just bite, they assault, with temperatures diving below zero and winds so brutal they could peel paint from a barn. Summers scorch the cracked earth, offering no relief, only a reminder of nature's indifference. Jobs are a rarity unless you're wrangling cattle or drilling oil from reserves that shrink yearly, leaving the economy tethered to a fading past. The isolation cuts deep. Tiny towns speckle the map like ghosts, boarded windows, empty streets, and a silence that smothers. The few who stay are hardened ranchers or off-grid loners, thriving where others wither. Most don't. Young people flee at the first chance, chasing cities with life and promise, abandoning Wyoming to its slow decay. The wide-open spaces, poetic in theory, turn oppressive in practice, miles from a store, a doctor, or anyone human. A flat tire here isn't a hiccup. It's an ordeal. This isn't a state for the faint. It's a test of grit, a land that demands more than it gives. The frontier allure fades when you're staring down endless sagebrush. The romance replaced by the stark reality of survival. Those who endure do so out of stubbornness or lack of options, their lives etched into the dust. Wyoming clings to a bygone era, a relic of a West that's lost its fight against time. It's less a home than a challenge, one most won't take, and fewer still master. The land doesn't care if you stay or go. It just watches, vast and unyielding, as the world moves on without it. Number 9, Montana. Montana sprawls across 1 million square miles, yet barely 1 million souls cling to it, a number that feels inflated. The big sky. Tag sounds charming, until that sky unleashes months of snow, isolating you in a frozen void. Jobs are a roll of the dice. Ranching or tourism might scrape by, but beyond that, the economy's as lifeless as a windless winter day. Internet's a pipe dream. Coyotes howl clearer signals than spotty cell towers ever will. The landscape dazzles, jagged mountains, dense forests, rivers that carve the earth. But its beauty taunts. Winter locks you in, those peaks a distant mirage, while bears roam nearer than neighbors. Small towns hemorrhage life. Schools shut their doors, storefronts board up, and the young bowl for cities with pulse and prospects. The wild's allure sours when you're splitting logs to fend off the cold. Every night a test of will. Montana's no sanctuary. It's a proving ground where nature holds the upper hand. The population's sparse, scattered across ranches and hollowed-out hamlets. Each mile a reminder of your solitude. A trip to the store can mean hours, not minutes, and a storm can strand you for days. The rugged individualism preached here is less choice, more necessity. Survival demands it. Those who stay are tough as a land, but even they can't stop the slow bleed of vitality. Montana trades on its mythos, a rugged Eden for dreamers, yet reality bites harder. It's a place that breaks more than it builds. The wild doesn't care for your grit or your dreams. It just endures, indifferent, as you fight to carve out a life. For most, it's a battle not worth winning. Number 8, North Dakota. North Dakota's 780,000 residents drift across a flat, frigid expanse that feels like a punishment for daring to exist there. The oil boom once dangled riches, drawing dreamers to its promise, but the bust left scars, ghost towns, rusting rigs, and a lingering resentment. Winter reigns supreme, a brutal overlord with sub-zero claws that tear at your flesh, while snowdrifts bury roads, erasing any trace of civilization. The terrain stretches endlessly, a featureless void where the horizon mocks with its blank stare, disorienting and desolate. Farming props up what's left, a threadbare lifeline in a place where jobs, people, and culture wither from scarcity. Variety's a foreign concept. Life here is a grind of sameness, choking out dreams of anything more. Towns dwindle as a young graduate and vanish, fleeing for brighter lights, abandoning aging farmers and main streets that crumble into dust. The wind never rests, a relentless wail that drowns out hope, a soundtrack to stagnation. Time froze here decades ago, ambition locked in ice, progress a whisper lost in the gale. The cold thrives where humanity falters. Flat fields stretch to nowhere, offer no shelter, no spark, just a canvas for nature's indifference. The boom's wreckage lingers, abandoned trailers, shuttered bars, proof that even opportunity couldn't take root. Those who stay are weathered, resigned, or trapped, their lives a battle against a land that gives little and takes more. North Dakota isn't dying. It's half dead already, a relic of resilience worn thin. It's not a state that welcomes you. It's a test of how much emptiness you can stomach. The horizon promises nothing. The wind carries no answers, and the cold ensures you never forget. This is a place where survival is the only victory, and even that feels hollow. Number 7, Nevada. Nevada's 3 million residents pile into Las Vegas, leaving 90% of the state a sprawling, sun-bleached desert, more a shimmering trick than a sanctuary. Beyond the electric hum of the Strip, you're thrust into a punishing expanse of sand and jagged rock, where summer heat warps the horizon into a hallucinatory haze and winter nights slam down with a cold so sharp it bites through layers. Jobs vanish the moment you leave the city's orbit. Rural towns hobble along, propped up by little more than faded signs, dusty gas stations, and the echoes of broken dreams. Water's a taunting mirage, the ground so parched it cracks open like a warning, daring you to find a drop. Crime festers in forgotten corners, spilling unchecked into desolate stretches where poverty reigns supreme and hope's just a rumor carried off by the wind. The promise of cheap land hooks the desperate and the starry-eyed, but reality delivers a scorching gut punch. You're not carving out a future. You're baking alive in a relentless, sun-soaked trap with no door out. Nevada's a land of jarring extremes, glittering excess or grinding despair, with no gentle in-between, and most who roll the dice here end up busted. It's a high-stakes game where the desert holds all the cards, collecting your resilience as its prize while you're left to wonder why you ever bet on it. Loving this unvarnished plunge into America's neglected fringes? Smash that subscribe button and buckle up for more raw, hard-hitting truths you won't stumble across anywhere else. Let's keep ripping off the glossy veneer and exposing what's beneath, together, step by unflinching step. Number 6, South Dakota. South Dakota's 900,000 inhabitants are strewn across endless, wind-swept plains that unfurl into a void so immense it feels like it's consuming you entirely. Winter descends as a merciless tyrant, unleashing blizzards that smother roads, engulf homes, and snuff out any flicker of hope beneath mounds of snow. The economy leans on a fragile duo, farming and a trickle of tourism drawn by Mount Rushmore stone faces. But these are flimsy crutches for a job market as brittle as ice on a shallow stream. Small towns teeter on the brink, their lifeblood seeping away as schools consolidate into distant echoes and storefronts collect dust, abandoned by time. The isolation seeps in like a creeping toxin. It's not just distance from a city, it's a severance from vitality itself. Neighbors are miles apart, entertainment a faded notion, leaving you marooned in a sea of prairie grass. Summers usher in sweltering heat and fierce storms, yet they can't jolt the state from its stagnant trance, a snapshot of a bygone era that's lost its quaint charm and gained a bitter edge. People flee because the state feels like surrender, a quiet admission that ambition has no place here. South Dakota's too proud, or perhaps too fractured, to claw its way forward, clinging instead to a past that no longer sustains it. It's a postcard no one bothers to mail, a land of stoic beauty and silent decline where the wind howls louder than any promise of renewal. Number 5, Alaska. Alaska's 730,000 dwellers confront a wilderness so immense and ferocious it feels more like a foe than a friend. For half the year, darkness cloaks the state, paired with frigid cold that cracks power lines, freezes fuel solid, and turns breath into ice. Wildlife isn't a charming bonus. It's a threat. Bears rummage through garbage, wolves prowl unnervingly near, and moose barrel forward without hesitation. Living costs hit like a sucker punch. Groceries, heating, every necessity hauled across frozen waters at prices that could break your spirit. Isolation is a heartbeat of this place. Villages severed by towering peaks or treacherous seas, accessible only by small planes if the weather doesn't trap you first. Healthcare's a gamble. A twisted ankle might leave you stranded for hours, Even days, awaiting rescue. The raw, untamed beauty reels and thrill seekers. But carving out a life here, especially with kids, is a relentless slog. Schools are few, winters drag on mercilessly, and the solitude claws at your sanity. Jobs lean on fishing, oil, or tourism, but they're fickle, and the payoff rarely matches the grind. Most who come don't stay. Alaska's a fleeting romance, not a lifelong vow. Its majesty overshadowed by a harshness that chews up the unprepared and spits them out. Number for Idaho. Idaho's 1.8 million inhabitants share a state that's more potatoes than potential, a rural expanse where ambition slams into a dead end. Beyond Boise's faint hum, it's an endless quilt of fields and forests. Picturesque until you grasp there's little to do but gaze at it. Jobs hinge on farming or logging, backbreaking work that pays peanuts, while other prospects evaporate into thin mountain air. Winters barricade you with snow and ice, transforming roads into slick traps, while summers parch the earth to a brittle husk, stifling any chance of renewal. The culture's tight-knit. Folks cherish their solitude, their silence, their rifles. But if you hunger for community, diversity, or a salary that fits the modern age, you're out of luck. Small towns teeter on survival, bleeding youth who trade the soil for urban vibrancy elsewhere. It's a haven for recluses, not visionaries, where the vistas dazzle but the horizon dims. Idaho's emptiness isn't a fluke. It's deliberate, a state sculpted for those who shun the world beyond its borders. What's left is a stubborn pride and self-reliance, a badge worn by those who endure the grind. The gem state clings to its nickname with irony. There's little sparkle here beyond the rugged peaks, and even those feel more like walls and wonders. Newcomers might sniff out a quiet escape, but they soon learn the silence is deafening, the simplicity a straitjacket. Idaho doesn't evolve. It digs in, a holdout against a world that's moved on. Number 3, Nebraska. Nebraska's 1.9 million souls swim in a relentless tide of corn and tedium, a flat sprawl where the horizon mocks with its unchanging stare. The weather's a tormentor. Summers broil you into submission, winters entomb you in drifts, and spring unleashes tornadoes that rip apart what little stands. Jobs orbit agriculture, a slog that pays less with each harvest, and if you're not tilling the earth, you're scavenging for crumbs in a state with no backup plan. Towns wither as a young escape, leaving behind graying streets, sagging barns, and dreams that rot in the sun. The monotony gnaws, hours of driving yield the same silos, the same fields, the same void. Omaha hints at salvation, but it can't stem the exodus. The soil's rich, yet the existence is barren, a grinding loop that erodes your will until it snaps. Nebraska's no goal. It's a stretch you endure, hoping you don't stall out. And stall out you might, because the state's inertia is its own gravity. There's a stoic acceptance among those who stay. Corn is king, and they're its weary subjects, bowing to seasons that dictate survival. Lincoln and Omaha glimmer faintly, but they're islands in a sea of sameness, too small to shift the tide. Nebraska's a monument to endurance, not ambition, a place where time flattens like the land itself. Number 2, New Mexico. New Mexico's 2.1 million residents can't mask the state's wounds. Deserts so arid they strangle vitality. Poverty so entrenched it spans lifetimes. And crime that lurks in every corner. The scenery mesmerizes, crimson cliffs, boundless skies. But it's a ruthless beauty, searing you in summer and abandoning you when the rains fail. Jobs flicker like a mirage. Beyond scattered cities, it's meager wages or bust, with living costs climbing as incomes flatline. Albuquerque grapples with bloodshed and addiction, while rural hamlets fade into dust, their adobe shells collapsing alongside their futures. The culture dazzles. Art, heritage, heat of the chili, but it's a fragile mask over a land where promise is a specter. People leave because the stay is to sink, and the splendor can't hold them. New Mexico's a riddle, vivid yet vacant, pulsing yet adrift. The enchantment wears thin when you're stuck in its grip. Those endless skies start to feel like a lid, trapping you beneath. Santa Fe's artsy glow draws tourists, but it's a bubble, disconnected from the struggle that defines the rest. The state's mystique is real, yet it's a siren song for those who can't afford its price. A harsh, beautiful nowhere that keeps its secrets close and its people closer to the edge. Number 1, West Virginia. West Virginia's 1.7 million dwellers grip the rugged Appalachian slopes, where history overshadows any hint of tomorrow. Coal once fueled prosperity, but as mines shuttered, towns decayed, empty shops, forsaken houses, and a workforce gasping for air. The mountains, once a majestic frame, now cage people in a mire of economic despair, with winding roads too few, opportunities too scarce, and isolation that squeezes tighter each year. The opioid plague has gouged deep wounds, turning quiet hamlets into grim parables of ruin. Schools vanish, hospitals fade, and those who linger either can't flee or refuse to forsake their roots. The land brims with lore, song, and soul, yet it's weighed down by hardship, a place where aspirations dissolve like fog in hollows. West Virginia isn't just overlooked. It's stranded, yearning for resurgence that stays out of reach. The hollers whisper resilience, but it's a faint echo against the silence of decline. Charleston flickers as a capital, yet it can't pull the state from its slump, too small, too steeped in yesterday. The people here wear their scars like medals, proud of a heritage that's both anchor and chain. West Virginia's a ballad of loss, sung by those too tied to its ridges to let go. There it is, the stark, unvarnished truth about half of America's emptiness. 10 states where the land's plenty but the people aren't, where nature's a bully, economy's limp, and loneliness is a way of life. This isn't just about statistics. It's about places so hollow they echo with what could have been. From Wyoming's windswept plains to New Mexico's desert graves, these are warnings etched in soil and sky. Proof that even in a country this big, you can still feel lost. What's next? We're cracking open the secrets of cities no one dares whisper about, places hiding in plain sight with stories that'll chill you to the core. Subscribe now, hit that bell, and join us for the ride. We're just getting started. See you in the shadows.